Patch. Good evening, everyone. My name is Varun, president of the Rutgers Entrepreneurship Society, and today I'm joined by Alex Simeon. Alex Simeon, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex Simeon. I'm the founder and CEO of MoneyUp. We're a fintech startup that's looking to reimagine personal finance and financial literacy for college students and Gen Z.
Yep, so for those of you who don't know, today we're filming our Rutgers Entrepreneurship Spotlight series. And Alex, before we get into everything, all the nitty-gritty, let's just start with a quick introduction about yourself.
Yes, so like I said before, Alex Simeon. I'm currently a sophomore at Rutgers University, New Brunswick, currently in the business school majoring in finance with a concentration in entrepreneurship.
Sounds good. And then beyond that, now let's talk a little bit about your company. Let's talk about MoneyUp. Yeah, do you want to give a quick intro to that?
Yeah, so said a little bit about it earlier, but MoneyUp is a fintech startup, and we're focused really on college students and Gen Z, try to tackle financial illiteracy. So what we do is combine a suite of financial tools as well as financial education, combine the two, and then we make a really engaging and really worthwhile experience for college students to really take control of their financial future. So a lot of college students don't know how to save their money, budget, a variety of other things. So our goal is to really make information, make it enjoyable to learn.
Yeah.
And also give them the tools to actually take that knowledge and then directly apply that to their own well.
For sure. So we will be talking later in the interview about the future of your company and how exactly you do that. But first, let's talk about the industry, the fintech industry itself. What made you want to get into fintech? And then after that, what do you think about the industry so far? What do you think about the past of it, the present, how it is operating today, and then most importantly, the future of the industry? So first, what made you want to enter it, and then your thoughts about it?
Yeah, so I mean, the goal was never to go directly into fintech. It just kind of so happened to be the best tool that I could use to solve the problem. Originally, the goal was to create a product that would help people with financial literacy. So typically, those solutions are education, school, content-related products and services. And I quickly realized that that's probably not going to be the most effective if it's just by itself, and it's hard to make a business out of that. And then I realized that, hey, why don't we actually combine it with tools? Because it's one thing to just learn, it's another thing to actually do.
Yeah.
But when you combine them together, it's a completely different story. So getting into fintech at the beginning was a challenge because there was a lot to learn.
Yeah.
A lot to learn, especially from compliance and regulatory perspectives. Really spent months just learning before I even touched anything, raised anything, whatever it was, just really understanding the ins and outs of how does a company that has a financial service idea take it from the idea stage to production, and doing so, legally and according to all the, all the compliances that are associated with it. But since then, I've been able to learn a lot by speaking to people, by actually doing things, going through the entire compliance and due diligence process for what we're doing in our specific use case. So, speaking to financial service providers, banks, all that stuff. So I feel like now I'm, far more, experienced in the industry. Obviously, there's so much to learn. You're never done learning, especially in financial services. But I have a good grasp of, what you need to know to get to whatever point you want to get to. So.
For sure. So I guess that, well, before I dovetail into my next point, your thoughts about the past of the industry. Fintech, for those of you who don't know, is financial technology. So using any type of technology to improve financial services. So when I say past, it's a hard question because it is a relatively new industry. But so I guess, just talk about past, present, future, your thoughts about the industry.
Yeah, so I'd say fintech is one of those industries that's always rapidly evolving. And you could look at it two ways, from the real tech side. So the people who are building the services that allow other people to build on top of them. And then there's the consumer facing side. So, the apps that people really interact with.
I'll list some examples for the audience.
So I guess on the builder side, so it's more like a B2B side. There's, I guess the big Stripe, Adyen, those kinds of companies that typically most people don't really know about because they're not targeting consumers or targeting companies. But then on the consumer facing side, The banks, the bank products you use, Chime, Venmo, PayPal, those Block, Square. So all of those are consumer facing. Most people interact with those.
Yeah.
But in terms of, how things have been in the past, when we started, it was completely different than it is now.
Yeah.
There was huge focus on cryptocurrencies. Those took a hit. A lot of companies and banks. So it wasn't just the consumer facing companies. It was also the back end ones who were just gone. Signature Bank, they shut down. They went through Chapter 11, and they were a big cryptocurrency friendly bank that provided a lot of back end services for those cryptocurrency facing projects, consumer facing projects. And then there's just a general shrinking, I would say. But it's not really unique to fintech. It's really the entire tech industry in general that's shrinking. A lot of layoffs. A lot of the financial service partners that we've been working with have had their own layoffs of their own.
Yeah.
So it's been close to us where we've seen, hey, people are losing their jobs. But other than that, I think right now it's almost like a lull right now where people are getting,
I feel like people are, in specific to the fintech industry, and then putting aside the whole tech industry, not on the downfall, but declining. I would say that's also because of inflation itself within the tech industry. But I feel like fintech is in this place right now where people are, they're building things, but they're waiting. It's like, just like you said, the lull, and people are waiting in the fintech industry to see what is going to be that next product, what's going to be that next revenue, the next big, peer-to-peer payments. It's already been done. Buy now, pay later. It's already been done. I feel like people are just waiting to. I don't. You tell me.
I think the reason why it's slow is because of the regulatory issues that have come about. So I think it really started with FTX. After that, people were like, "What's going on? How did we let this happen?" Pretty much. And then from that point, late fall last year, people started to be very, very wary. And then as soon as SVB happened, I mean, it really took a hit. I mean, getting through. So how it works is that you have to get approved. If you're building a financial service that's facing a customer, or even a business, you have to use an underlying bank. Unless you want to be a bank of your own, which nobody does because that's ridiculous, but it's expensive and it's costly. Or is it costly? Or just you have to have a ton of money up front. But those queues, in order for you to get to serving customers, if you want to have financial services, you have to be approved by a bank. But after SVB collapsed, those queues increase 6 to 12 months. I've heard where they're building products, test environments, but they don't have production keys because the banks are like, we don't really feel comfortable with this amount of risk. So,
so what you're saying is a big reason for the decline in the speed and the further improvement of the fintech industry is perhaps banks not willing to service.
I think that's a big component of it. It's just hard to raise money nowadays too. So it's not just that, but I'd say that's a big reason as to why it's slower in terms of rapid innovation compared to when it was 2020, 2021, where it's just there's a new thing coming out every few weeks. But that's part of the reason why it's so slow.
So what would you call that the bank servicing the fintech? That's just a licensing?
It's called banking as a service.
Okay.
There's always as a service providers for every vertical, whatever it is. But for financial services, it's if you want to get approved by a bank to offer services in the financial space, you could either go straight to a bank or you can work through kind of like a middleman, which is banking as a service providers. Going through the middleman saves you months typically. Now it's, like I said, it's slower, but still it saves you some time. But that's typically how you navigate that.
Very interested.
So I think I've always had an entrepreneurial bug, is I guess you could call it. Since I was young, I've always tried to build something. My dad has always been, telling me to listen to podcasts that I would recommend to this day, like How I Built This.
What's your favorite podcast, Alex?
All time, probably How I Built This by Guy Raz. So right now, probably All In Podcast.
Yes. All In Podcast.
I'll watch that. It's pretty insightful. Get a lot of information from that. It's also entertaining, but Since I was young, I've always tried to build stuff. Did a few things in high school. But in terms of like where I am now, really started, freshman year, realized a lot of my friends were just not great with their money. I was like, hey, I like to build stuff. Let's build something here to solve this problem. I didn't know what it would be at that point, but, it took me some time to really go through the entire process of, hey, you have an idea. How do you get to product? Going through the whole ringer. And that's how I am here. But always been an entrepreneur, I would say. Always had the desire to build with my own hands and like make an impact, I would say. So
For sure. Most Rutgers students want to be entrepreneurs, and I think as a Rutgers student trying to be an entrepreneur, I think the people that you surround yourself with plays the most important factor in your success or not. Do you want to talk a little bit about the relationship with you and your friends and other people around you as you try to be an entrepreneur, and how that either negatively or positively affected your journey?
Yeah, so like you said, the people you surround yourself with really kind of defines how you move forward as a person, especially within the startup space if you're trying to build something. For me, I've always surrounded myself with people that I would know kind of challenge me mentally, to kind of push myself better from that point of view. But when I really started with where I am with MoneyUp, I made sure to put myself around people in the industry, because interacting with financial services is not something that I, am familiar with. I'm a college student, I'm a sophomore, I don't have decades of experience to lean on. So surrounding myself with people who have that experience has allowed me to be better. So it doesn't matter if you're in fintech or, B2B SaaS or whatever the vertical you decide to build in is, and just surrounding yourself with people who have experience so that you can learn is going to help you tremendously. So that's how I got to where I am, and that's what I would recommend to other people.
That's so interesting. You said surround yourself with people who are already at where you want to go, essentially.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But most of these people tend to be older.
Yeah.
So, what do you do about the people? Do you not hang around with anyone your age, Alex?
No, I definitely do.
So
Not as much.
Yeah.
It's just stay busy because there's a lot of stuff to do to get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I do speak with other student founders here at Rutgers as well. Just because I'm interested in their journeys and helping them if I can. If I've done something that they want to get some advice about, whether it's raising money or pitching yourself correctly or whatever it is, building a product, interview, whatever it is, I still speak with these people, help them out. But in terms of like most of my time, I would say is with those older people who are running their own companies, because I just like to learn, and they have so much to learn, from. So it's a good mixture of the two, but I'd say it leans heavy towards people who are already at the top of their game.
Yeah. So we do have two more questions, and let's try to run through them. Yeah. Because I also would want to ask you a third one before that, so let's try to do that, and also try to speak louder, perhaps. But if you were to give a psychological profile, not only of yourself, but of what you think a young, successful founder would look like, in like 2 to 3 sentences, what is that psychological profile? What are the drivers that drive kids like us to do what we do at the age that we do it at?
I would say stay ambitious, dream big, but you're going to fail a lot. That's a guarantee. So have grit so that you can continue to pursue it.
Yes. Thick skin. Yeah. So that was amazing. Now let's go back to talking about MoneyUp. Let's talk about Alex's company. Alex, tell us your vision for the future of MoneyUp and why you are the best financial service fintech provider for Gen Z and the rest of the market that you hope to attain.
So for us, we believe that we're the best choice for this, because if you look at the market right now, there are fairly little to no players who are currently teaching you about your money while simultaneously giving you the tools that you need to actually take that information and actually apply it. And if there are platforms that do that, it's not fun. Nobody really knows about them. So what we're trying to do is bring attention to teaching yourself about critical topics that, frankly, most people don't know about. Making it fun, making it engaging, getting as tools as well, but also just making it worth your time. Simply because people think that, hey, I'll grow up later, I'll worry about this at another point. but just emphasizing that, hey, it's better you start now, and making it worth your time now is what we're trying to do. So because our target market is college students and Gen Z, we have a great insight into how they act, what they want to engage with. So that has allowed us to build and design the product around what those big pain points were. So we really believe that we're a painkiller, not a vitamins, because we really hit the problems on the head. So,
Yes. So yeah, I love everything you said. For those the people, the viewers who are watching this, who may not have seen your pitch deck, who may not know who you are or what MoneyUp is, talk in very plain words. What does MoneyUp do for the college student who's watching this? And talk about some of the features that you provide that helps them reimagine personal finance and financial literacy.
yeah, so starting from the top, we offer financial services, obviously. So we offer our users access to a completely free checking and saving account with a linked debit card. Hopes in the future to add checking services to our platform, credit services to our platform as well.
Of course.
We also offer automatic budgeting, so you can actually stay on top of your transactions.
Interesting.
Simply because, if you budget now, you're doing it in a spreadsheet or you're trying to manually do it.
Yeah.
But when it's connected to your debit card, we can automatically say, hey, you spent money for food and services this week. You spent money for online services this week, and just give you a really great holistic picture of where your money's going. Beyond that, on the educational side for now, we are offering a TikTok style feed of educational content that's short, sub 60 seconds, where we're talking about topics that really are, important for college students. So, how to stay on top of your money better, how to budget, just fun facts about, whether for financial literacy topics and stuff like that. As well as a AI chat assistant. So if you have, financial questions, it's not always easy to get those answers. So we've added a tool into our product that basically allows you to, go in there, ask your question. You'll get a simple response that you'll actually understand. So that's it for now. We're obviously going to continue to, innovate and bring new product. But for now, that's what we're going to be launching with.
Very cool. Very cool. So I hope you guys had an amazing time watching this spotlight. Before we end it, Alex, two things. Is there anything else you would like to talk about before the last question, which is, what advice would you have to give to aspiring student entrepreneurs like yourself?
I'd say, advice. I wish I had more advice when I was coming into this. But I think the biggest thing that I would give to younger people who are trying to get into building a startup or a company or any form of entrepreneurship, whether that's social or intra-entrepreneurship or whatever it is to just dream big, and continue to do what you want to do. Their failure is the biggest commonality and constant in entrepreneurship.
Yes.
People think it's all, fun and games, and, you do something and you're automatically, the next Bill Gates or whoever it may be, but there's so much failure. And even if you think you've made it, you can still fail in a day.
Yeah.
You can lose your company in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Companies that are publicly traded just dip. So continuing to just dream big and persevere through the failure is like the biggest thing, because a lot of people get discouraged. So, if you want to really succeed in this space, don't fear failing.